All right, DPC guys, welcome to the narrative. This is your boy Elder with my guy Reginald, and we just gonna chop it up for a little bit, man. Have a little bit of fun. We got some narratives going on and some things like that. So the narrative today, for at least the next 20 minutes, nothing crazy. We're gonna talk a little bit about, do we really know who the point guard of the future is? Do we really know who our point guard of the future is? Do we really got that down pat? Do we really know? So as always, guys, you can drop moments, some comments in the little comment section. You can drop some of your thoughts over there if you want. We'll just chat it up. Like I said, we're just gonna have a little fun with it. So um, we started off with my guy Killian Hayes. That was my guy coming out. Everybody know that I love Killian Hayes. That was my favorite. That was my favorite pick. You know what I mean? So we all knew that he was my person. And then so then we gone for him.
We need a sarcasm hot button, like on screen.
So how are we feeling, man? Do you feel like we have distinguished who our point guard of the future is? Do you feel like we figured it out?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're in a. You gotta think about it, man. We're gonna have 5 point guards on this team that ain't got minutes. At least 5. We had Killian Hayes. We had Dennis Smith Jr. We had DeLon Wright. We had Derrick Rose.
Right.
So now we got Saban Lee. Even Frank Jackson and got some time. So now you're talking about 6 point guards.
Right.
Got time at that position this year. And I'm really thinking that Weaver's trying to develop an atmosphere of competition.
Right.
This is one of them situations where whoever emerges and takes it, that's who will get the job. Now, of course, his first pick as a GM was Killian Hayes. So, of course, he's going to look at this kid and say, I think he'll have a piece of our future.
Right.
Hope that he has a piece of our future. But he don't know because it's all up to Hayes. So, with him missing a significant chunk of his first year on top of rookie OTAs and summer league, and my man didn't even have a rookie symposium. So
Right.
it's just a bad spot for Killian right now, especially with the way Saban Lee looked last night.
Right.
He looked like he's going to attack that position. He's going to try to take it from whoever's there.
Right.
Which is what you want to see. I want to see somebody come in and, all right, you ain't here. DeLon Wright hurt. Dennis Smith looked like he's trying to knock the rust off. All right, it's all on me. So I do not think that we know who the point guard of the future is. And then we got the draft next year. A point guard might fall into our lap with more talent than anybody that we have on this team.
Right.
That position. So it's I don't want to say it's ugly because you said you got the more people that you have throwing their hats in the ring, the better chance of you finding who's going to be the one that's going to come out on top. So it's to our advantage, actually.
So I wonder how much it is this like. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get a little bit of some interaction going on. I'm gonna add some folks to this conversation, but I also wonder how much stuff is us. Like we want like this. So Frank Jackson has one game. So how much is it that we just want other people to be great? You know what I mean? How much is it that we just want these guys, these other players, just to be really good? Like we well wishing and we really, really hoping that, so what I mean? He has one game. We just hoping that these other guys is so much better than Killian Hayes that we giving them a break that we wouldn't give Killian Hayes. You know what I mean? Like we want him to be that good. You know what I mean?
And to tell you the truth, man, that's just Detroit, man. We love the underdog. We love the dude that, not the dude that people expect. We like the dude that people don't expect.
Right.
Come over here and seize a position and take us to the next level. That's how it's always been in Detroit. And to tell you the truth, when I'm looking at this roster, man, I can only tell you 3 people that I think will be here 4 years from now.
Right.
And that's just looking at the whole roster. Like I'm looking, you got Jeremy Grant, he's gonna be here.
Right.
Sadiq Bey, he's gonna be here. Stewart, with his effort, he's gonna be here. Outside of that, bro, Killian Hayes is a question mark. Saban Lee is still on a 2-way contract, so he's still a question mark.
Right.
Jackson, his history and everything is going to
I'm honestly, I don't even include Jackson in the conversation. To me, the conversation is DeLon Wright. Mm-hmm. And once again, I was sharing it with my guy. I was sharing with my guy, Piston Mike, and he was sharing that, like he was just saying how DeLon Wright, his age is not attractive and everything like that, which is cool. I get a lot of people saying that, but then my mindset is, it's always that second career. So you get a guy who just finally strikes gold, like they get older, 26, 27, 28, and they give you a good 4-year run until age catches up with him. Mm-hmm. So he could be that guy. Got Killian Hayes. We don't know what he's going to become. He only has 7 games until his injury. He had this rough adjustment period, so we don't know if he turns the corner, how soon he turns the corner. Is this corner turn going to be a 2021? We don't know. We just had Saban Lee, who really only shown us really that one last game he had when he played 32 minutes, which I think combined is more minutes than he's played all season. And then we have your boy, Dennis Smith Jr., very highly anticipated, but we can see some things. So, but then there's the other part. So you have Killian Hayes, you have Saban Lee, who showed us potential flashes. We have Dennis Smith Jr., who has a history of flashes. You got DeLon Wright, who may be in his second career, his second leg of his career, like showing you flashes. And then you come up into this draft where you're going to have potential strong ball handlers right off the bat with a Cade, a Suggs, right off the bat. So it kind of puts you right back if we're in the draft. So we come around the draft time. If Suggs is on the board, let's just say Suggs is on the board versus a Mobley. Do you pass on Suggs for Mobley? I'm just saying if they are in the same spot because you're saying, hey, we got 19, 20-year-old at point guard. We have a 21-year-old at point guard in Lee. We have a 23-year-old point guard at Dennis Smith Jr. Do we draft another point guard who? And I know people say more talented, more skill, more ability, but they said all that about these players too. Do you pass on that because you got point guards to develop, or do you stick with your guns and go with another position and fill the position out?
So you already know how I am about a player with versatility,
right?
If Suggs is on the board, you take him. This is a wing-oriented league,
right?
It's a wing-oriented league. Suggs can be your number one. He could also shift over to the number 2,
right?
That's the kind of player that he is. He has the versatility to do it and the efficiency to do it. Which goes hand in hand with that. So I would never pass up on it. And the only reason I would say that is because, like I said, you need strong wing players, period.
Right.
Need it in this league. And we're starting to see that right now because the last few games where we're struggling, to keep up with teams is because Grant can't do it all by himself.
Right.
Jackson trying to, he's trying to be aggressive enough to be that second guy, but he doesn't have the efficiency to do it yet. So we're looking at a point where, and then even look at how other teams are playing. You see how Portland is. They got McCollum and Lillard in the backcourt.
Right.
You look at what Brooklyn is doing right now. They got who they got.
I know you mean.
They got World B Flat.
But you see by how it kind of puts you in them same vulnerable positions as a franchise, though, when you potentially you're ready to draft the same position within the same age range multiple times. Like you're really ready to do the same thing. and you're kind of hoping that this guy hits, but there's no guarantee that the guy is really going to hit. You know what I mean? It's no guarantee that he's really going to do that. Jamal, check your inbox, brother. Check your inbox. There's no guarantees he's going to hit. And I'm sorry, guys, I was distracted. I was trying to share the streams and everything, but I'm back lock and loaded. So my thing is, when I look at I'm just talking about Pistons. So we have a lot going on. I really want to look at this point guard thing because, my whole thing is address narratives that are in the group, in the Detroit Pistons Central group, and also in the Detroit Pistons News group, Detroit Pistons News and Updates group. Great groups. I would say join, share, like, do whatever you need to do. So always address the things I see. So coming into the draft, and I'm not saying we had to pick him, and it's fine. We don't know how good Cole Anthony is going to be and everything. He's already dealing with injuries and stuff. But literally, I remember everybody saying we didn't. A lot of people, and I say everybody, a lot of people was like, we do not want Cole Anthony because he's too much of a shooting point guard. He's too much of a scoring point guard. He's too selfish. He's not this. He's that. He just relies on his athleticism. He's not crafty. He doesn't do any things. Great. I have no problem with it if that's your feeling. Dennis Smith Jr. is the same thing, but already proven it don't work. And we was ecstatic about it. We was like, oh, we get an athletic scoring point guard who can dunk and do these incredible things. Man, but why not draft that type of point guard if you're just going to get excited about a point guard who hasn't seen it work? If you was to measure Cole Anthony and Dennis Smith Jr., they are prototypes of one another. They are prototype players of one another. But it was several people who said I would take Killian Hayes and his passing over Cole Anthony and his athletic shot creating scoring ability. And now we're looking at a guy like what Saban Lee just did. And what Saban Lee did in one game, okay, listen, this is a hyper This is hype. Okay, we hyping this up. It's one game. He could come back next game, go 0 for 7, have 5 turnovers, look horrible. And I'm just saying, but in one game, Saban Lee looked like the combination of what we wanted in Dennis Smith Jr. and what we would want. And he showed the aggressiveness. He did the aggressiveness that we would want in a guy like Killian Hayes. Saban Lee showed the aggressiveness that we were wanting Killian Hayes. And he showed the efficiency that we would want in Dennis Smith Jr. All in one game.
So
that's what he
did. So this is
what's up, Jamal? How you feeling, brother?
What's going on, bro? You all right?
Yeah. We just doing our when I grab a minute, and we just doing our conversation. Do we really know who our point guard of the future is?
No, we don't. And to keep it a buck, the point guard of the future might not be on this team. It may be in the draft coming up.
That's exactly what I just said.
I'm going to keep saying this. We're getting the number 1 pick, y'all. I'm calling it out now.
I'm with you. Everything, and I've been saying it from start. I'm with you. I believe everything you said is our time. I'm with you.
You know what the crazy thing about that is, bro?
What's that?
We in a funny situation because let's just say we do get the number 1 pick. Now everybody wants Cade, and I don't have a problem with that. I told you my list is Cade, Suggs, Green, Kuminga. With any one of them 4, I'm good. Doesn't matter. But let's just say it ends up being Suggs. The benefit that we have of having a player like Suggs on the team, and then what people think Killian is going to be, it does give you versatility in the backcourt because both of them can play either position, point guard, 2 guard, they can defend. Now, thing is, if Saban Lee closes this season out the way some people think that he can, it creates a conundrum. But it allows you to have Saban Lee as a backup or a starter, Killian Hayes as a backup or a starter, and then you got Suggs who can play the 1 or the 2. or Cade. That can fit one to two or the three.
As far as
it's a unique situation.
I'm gonna tell you, to me, Cunningham is more versatile than Suggs, simply because
of his height and his length.
His height, and not just that. Cunningham can play off the ball as well. I don't think Suggs can play off the ball as well as Cunningham can, and that's a big deal. That is a really big deal, especially if you talking about moving one of them to the two.
Nah, I don't agree with you there, but because I actually think Suggs is better off the ball than Cade is. Okay. Cade has gone his whole career with the ball in his hand. We have very rarely seen him play off the ball. Now Suggs, he's played both.
But see what you're doing. We see what we're doing here, and it's kind of my point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say hypothetically, that either let's enter this world of hypothetical. So walk with me into this world of hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not comparing, but I'm just making an example. You remember when Reggie Jackson first came to Detroit, and he finished the season off averaging like 17 points, 9 assists, whatever. He had a couple of triple doubles down the stretch, and then we locked him into a big contract. Mm-hmm. What if Dennis Smith Jr. finishes his year like that with us? What if, I'm not saying that Lee has to be that good. What if Lee is like Chucky Atkins good at finishing his year? But 21, do you still go for another point guard?
Yes.
And they're 21 and 23.
Yes, you do. And here's why you do. Because those guys, I think, are franchise-changing players. Not just point guards, they are franchise-changing players. And it's a good problem to have. And that's a very good question you asked. I still would take them. I still would take them if I have the top pick. I'm still going there unless a team will have to offer me the farm to come off of number one. The farm.
So let's say number 3. Let's go off of number 1. Let's say we had number 3. Let's say he's off the board, and let's just say Green. Although I know he's falling back behind, and it comes down between like a Suggs and a Mobley, and you already had your guards. Once again, I'm not saying they don't have to finish the season great, like they finish the season like good, and 21 and 23 years old. They finish the season good. Do you still take another point guard, or do you go out and then you still have Hayes that you don't know? And then do you take another point guard, or do you go for another position that fills out the team?
If it's Suggs, I'm taking them. I'm taking Suggs. I'm still taking.
Okay.
I'm taking Suggs. Okay. Tell you the truth, the only time I'm deviating from if Suggs is off the board, Cade is off the board, Green is off the board. The only thing you're looking at is Kuminga and Mobley. I'm taking Kuminga. So at this point, Mobley's a number 5. I don't care what list you make. I feel
like that's where we differ, man. I feel, and I know we can go left, and I know we can all regret it, but that's just a part of the NBA. Other than Cade, in my feeling, and that's because of his size, his shooting ability, and everything I've seen him do. He's the only definite that I would take to potentially fill out my backcourt or to take that problem in my backcourt. I just feel like we have other things that are going to need to be addressed, and you're not going to get in any other draft. I don't think you'll get that same opportunity in any other draft. So you pick a Suggs, and I'm not saying he won't be great, but when if Suggs is only measures out as good as what our guys we have, or it turns into this big cluttered backcourt thing.
I mean, and
that's still a good problem to have.
Then on anybody.
Then you have depth, and then you can move whatever you feel like, whatever direction you want to go in. You can move those guys. But I saw a trade scenario, and I don't know if it's possible. They had us possibly getting Minnesota's lottery pick, and I
like it was like the 5th pick.
No, this would be the first. This would be number one overall. This would be 2021.
What we giving up?
And I don't care.
I need to know what's happening for it even to be something I would even consider. Like, is it worth me even putting my brain to it, or is it just one of those crazy gave up Blake and then we had
it's not giving up Blake. I think it was Sekou. I think we were giving up Sekou 2023 and 2025 first round picks. I think that's what it was.
2023 first round, a 2025 first round.
Yeah.
Sekou to get Minnesota's pick this year that would be at 5th.
Yep. I forgot who to play, but I would do that in a heartbeat. I would do that.
I told you, ain't nobody on this roster guaranteed.
You say what?
Well, I mean, it's not so much about
maybe great.
It's not about Sekou for me at all. But that 2023 and 2024, if these guys don't pan out right, you regretting that in another couple of years.
Listen, hypothetically, if you have 2 of the top 3 picks of this draft, you could take Cade Cunningham and whoever the hell you want to with the second pick. You could go locally. You could go Suggs. It won't matter. You will have 2. You will have 2 of the top 5. Man, you could do a lot with that. You could do a lot.
Cade and Green,
or for that, or Cade and Mobley. And hell, you could trade back if you wanted to. It's so much.
This is a very deep draft.
Yeah.
So hypothetically, if we do that, fine. But in reality, Minnesota probably not doing it.
Well, first of all, Minnesota is a dumpster fire of an organization.
You call everybody a dumpster fire. You call everybody. If they're a dumpster fire, we're a dumpster fire. If they're a dumpster fire, we're a dumpster fire.
Dude, they are trash.
We're a dumpster fire.
Let me say this. I said this in the post. I said this in the post. What is the difference in the last 10 years? What's the difference between us and Minnesota? Say 10, 15 years. What is the difference between the Detroit Pistons and the Minnesota Timberwolves?
You know what? Believe it or not, their draft history is way worse than ours, dog, and it's not close.
Think about it.
Really bad.
They skipped on Curry. I said this in the post. We skipped on.
Hold on. I want you to get this right, Elder. I want you to get this right. Not only did they miss out on Curry, they missed out on him twice. They took 2 point guards, and neither one of them was Curry. Are you kidding me?
That makes them a little bit worse, but
a lot worse.
I'm just saying, but a lot of their patterns really do match up in the last 10, 15 years. A lot of their patterns match up with the Pistons patterns.
I don't do. Listen,
if we want to hold their hat for Curry, fine. But they've hit on players. They got Zach LaVine. He was a late pick. They got him right. They got some late guys when they got them right. They did draft well with Karl Anthony Towns. They did. They gave up on Karl Anthony Towns. He was a number 1 guy. Wiggins, I mean, they got that off the trade when they didn't draft Wiggins, but they got off the trade. They did the thing, but they did do well there. But they didn't do bad with their core young team. What they did bad with the development of their core young team. But they did not do bad with their core young team. I'm just saying, they didn't do bad drafting. They did bad with developing. So the question is, once again, a lot of that came to all that positions that were in conflict with one another. And then it turned into this. So yes, Steph Curry was horrible. Well, I won't say that because if you do the grades, Steph Curry was graded behind Flynn. If you look at all the grades, I did my research. He was graded behind Flynn.
No, he was. And I'm going to tell you something. I didn't think Steph Curry was going to be as good as he was.
Nobody did. You know what I mean? Not like this. You know what I mean? So 2 Minnesota defense, like my Darko defense. Darko was graded high. Flynn was graded high. Now, I know we can say all that, but I don't want to go that. We hold that Darko conversation another day. But I'm just saying, so they did go by the grades, and Flynn was killing workouts. I remember he was killing workouts. They took Rubio thinking, "Oh, we need a pass guy who can get the ball to Flynn." Then this is going to be this young court.
That was the tiniest backcourt ever.
Now we're saying the same thing. We're saying let's load up on all these point guards because somebody got to hit, and we skip out on other positions that could be really a need.
Well, you know what I mean? Here's the thing. The NBA is a guards league, and I think that's where this is headed. You know, and it's also a copycat league. Everybody wants to do what Golden State is doing. Everybody wants to do what Portland is doing. Everybody wants, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. If they get the right players in Cleveland, they're gonna be fine because that's a nice backcourt over there.
Yeah, they're pretty decent. And once again, if we think about what they're doing, so and they're a hot and cold team too. And I'm not going to go into the Drummond thing, but a lot of people are like, oh, Drummond was holding them back. Drummond goes out the lineup. They still lost 4 in a row, and they still losing by 20 points a game. So, but it's because their guards it's ball down. So when Sexton is on, they're dangerous. When Sexton is not on, they just run of the mill.
And they're tiny. They don't have
tiny. Huh?
They're tiny.
Also,
tiny.
Also, your guards have to complement each other too.
Yeah, you feel like Garland and Sexton don't really mesh
because they do the same thing. That's why they do the same thing. They need to one of them. They need to get like a shooter or something like that. One has to be more of the shooter. Like Steph and Clay complement each other well.
Mm-hmm. So how far? When you look at this Pistons team, and I know you asked that question in the Detroit Pistons news group, we said how far away we are. I think us confirming a starting point guard, he does not have to be all-star good, but he has to be all-star conversation good. He has to be somebody we look at and be like, oh, he should get a look. I'm not saying he has to make it, but he should be like, oh, he should get a look. And how far are we away? Is it 2021 draft that good? Like Suggs good? Or is it we think that one of these guys we have? And I told let's just even if we put I'm gonna take the long right out of the conversation and I'm gonna take Frank Jackson out of the conversation. That still leaves us with Saban Lee, who Dwayne Casey said is a true point guard. He said he sees the skill and ability, all of the stuff, the leadership, all of the things. He said, and then you look at I keep on wanting to call him. I keep on Sean Jackson, Dennis Smith. We've seen his ability. Once again, we know what he's been able to do, and then you look at Killing Hayes, who we are waiting. Are any of those guys good enough? Like any of those 3 good enough? You say one of those 3 can be all-star conversation good.
So you know what?
Obviously, Dennis Smith Jr. is based on what we saw in Dallas. It's kind of one of those things where he did what Reggie Jackson did. He plateaued. He went.
And for the listeners, he's not comparing him to Reggie Jackson. I know that some people may hear you not comparing him to Reggie Jackson. But go ahead. Go ahead.
That's what happened. I'm just saying Reggie Jackson plateaued. And that was the best example to use because they both play the point guard position. I'm not saying that he's going to plateau, but that's kind of what happened. He plateaued. Now he's here with a fresh start. So he could get back to that point. But if I was a betting man, he would probably be the guy that I would say would be closer or would be an all-star. But let me say this. I agree with your point about a point guard away. A point guard can make your team from one of the worst to the best team. I've seen it done. Jason Kidd, back in 01, they were the worst team in the East. Insert Jason Kidd, they're title contenders. They went to the finals.
Steve Nash.
You said what?
Steve Nash. When he went from Dallas to Phoenix, bro, they did. When they went from Dallas to Phoenix, they played a whole lot better.
They played better, but he didn't have in my opinion, he didn't have the impact that Jason Kidd had. Jason Kidd got them boys to the finals. Nash is one of those guards that burn out the playoffs, man. I like Steve Nash.
They went from a 29 game record to a 62 game record. Like they were horrible before Nash got there.
I feel what you're saying, but But also too,
if you're talking about championship wise, I'm not about to question somebody that takes somebody to the championship. But I was just saying, like Steve Nash did change the whole dynamic of their team.
yeah, and also attitude. Ironically, that trade I was speaking of with Jason Kidd and Stephon Marbury, Phoenix with Jason Kidd won 55 games. When he left and they traded him to New Jersey for Stephon Marbury. Stephon Marbury became the point guard. They lost 55 games. So yeah, the type of point guard, it does matter, man. It really does matter.
But you know what?
Look how we did. Look how well we played when, and I know we weren't winning, but look how well we played as a team when DeLon Wright was like balling out. Like point guard definitely impacts the team, and DeLon Wright played a very different style. Well, he played the way that we would have hoped that Killian could develop to become, because it's very similar in style of play. Like they're not going to be the most explosive. They're not going to be dunking over top of you. They're going to set their feet, make their shots. But you can see the way it elevated the team. So just imagine when you get a guy who can bring that next level to you, who you don't know is going to be able to drop those 10 assists and 20-point games on any given night or on an average or around an average, can really impact the team. So I just look at our situation, man, and it's good. It's kind of good. I'm gonna say it's kind of good, and then it's kind of not good, because I think when there's no clarity, you tend to want to keep fixing mistakes instead of saying maybe fill another position. Like I said, to me, KD, I'm not gonna call him generational, but I get those. I really get those. I don't know how good you guys. I know you guys are Michigan guys, but I think Steve Smith was a baller. Even at the NBA level, I think Steve Smith.
Listen,
Atlanta Steve Smith.
Yeah. Hey, Elder, I may be a Michigan guy, but I know ball when I see it. Yeah, Steve Smith was a beast.
So, and that's what I'm just saying. Some people will hear that name and they'll be like, "No, he's this." I get that. Like this guy can do so many. He reminds me of Steve Smith. Like he can do so many on ball, off ball. I know you're saying maybe he's not so off ball, but I feel like he can be that. And his feet, he feels like Luka. Like he feels like once that NBA game opens up, when the floor gets a little bit more spread, people are not going to sit back in zones on you all day. He's just going to light people up. And I just don't know if you, I don't know. I would him, that's the only person I would not pass on. The rest of you guys,
you know
I'm kind of proud of position.
I tell you what. The only thing that would throw a monkey wrench in me grabbing Suggs or somebody, a point guard in the next draft, is if by some miracle Killian Hayes comes back off this injury and kills the end of this season. He would have to murder the end of this season, because then I'd be like, all right, young buck, and then you got Saban Lee backing him up, and then you can go get a Green, or you can go get Cade if he's available, because he can play off the ball or play the three. Just had the ball in his hand more. That's the only way. He would have to literally murder the league, though.
He would have to murder the league.
You had 15 to 10. 15 to 10.
Derek said we definitely need a point guard. Derek said we definitely need a point guard. But Killian Hayes would not have to murder the league. If Killian Hayes finished the season with 12
to 10,
10, 12 points a game, 6 assists, shoots over 40%, 35%. You're looking at a 19-year-old, and you're saying he's coming back and he's starting to peak. He's going to in that 12 game. You know what he's going to show you? He's going to have a 20 and 10 game in there a couple of times. He's going to have a couple of good games. He's going to have enough to go.
I'm still drafting Cunningham, and I'm gonna figure the rest out.
We drafted Cunningham. I said Cunningham.
We all agree we drafted Cunningham. I was talking about Suggs.
I don't know if I'm taking Suggs if Killian Hayes finished the season 12-6 and shoot well. I don't know. I don't know. You already calling Josh Jackson your shooting guard. You already saying he's your shooting guard. That's what I'm saying. People say Josh Jackson shooting guard. Then you got Bay and you got Grant.
He wanted to show up proof to even get a contract.
Well, I'm gonna be
I'm
honest.
saying what the people saying.
I'm gonna say this. I honestly think I like Josh Jackson. I like him a lot, but they're gonna have to make a decision on Josh Jackson
Early.
Now, granted, they don't have to make a decision till next year.
No, they're going to make one a little bit sooner than that. Probably in the off, not the off season, but do you re-sign him? Do you extend him?
Mm-hmm. Because you run that risk that if you have opportunity to get him with a cheaper extension now, you get him cheaper. But if he excels next year and you go past that little mark when you can't, and then he becomes more expensive, then you end up thinking you're gonna have to lose him or trade him. And then it's hard to trade guys on expiring deals, because teams be like, I can just get them in free agency. I can just get them in the market. So I agree. I think that you do have to kind of make a decision. I know you're saying like you don't have to go over the boat on him, but you do have to make it. And when he's showing you can be hot and cold. So definitely the good thing about a good backcourt is like when they're locked in, you can worry about everything else. But when your backcourt is fluctuating, you think, and they young. That's the negative side of young guys. That is the negative side. You don't see them develop, and you go, man, we already have this position. Let's go find another position. You know what I mean? It happens. It happens all the time in drafting.
That was the benefit of Weaver bringing in guys on tradable contracts. You sit here and look at this right now. Lon Wright, tradable contract. Mason Plumlee, tradable contract. Dennis Smith, he's not. I don't think he's going to be re-signed. I don't think he's staying after this. Josh Jackson, tradable contract. Wayne Ellington, I think he's going to be out of here by trade deadline. So that was the benefit of doing that, because you can actually make some moves and get more assets to bring in more guys.
And you can also clear cap space to get to take if you want to with that as well. And hell, even the way he's playing, even Jeremy Grant's contract is tradable. I wouldn't trade him.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't trade him. Well, absolutely a tradable contract. I wouldn't trade him.
No, I wouldn't either.
You would trade him for Minnesota in that first pick?
I wouldn't. No,
yes, you would.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Listen.
So Minnesota calls and say, we want Jeremy Grant and you're going to get our top 5 pick. You saying no?
Morally. And the
I
difference
think Weaver would say no. I think Weaver would say no.
The only reason why I would say no, and I've had this conversation with you guys about this.
I know. I just want to hear you say it. I just want to hear you say it. Every time you get on here, I'm gonna throw another scenario about Jeremy Grant until I get you be like, No,
he wants to be here, and you don't want to piss off. You don't want to piss off a guy. He wanted to come here to get shots, and he wanted to be here. So how that look? You trade a guy that wants to be here. Now free agents won't come here. I mean, you can't. I mean, you could do that, but it wouldn't be a good look.
And that's why I love the fact that they showed Derrick Rose the respect they did. They showed Blake the respect they did, instead of just saying we're gonna just move you for anywhere or whatever. They want to move them to places where they want to be. That's a good culture move.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm definitely playing devil's advocate, because I wouldn't necessarily want to move Jeremy Grant, but I am to the point that if you could lock in guys that you think are going to be long term, like end of the day, I like Jeremy Grant, but he is 27 years old, and I'm not an age person. I'm not like I'm 26.
Yep, I think.
And I'm not a big age person, like, because I know how it goes. Like, if you take care of your body, you could be good for a minute. But I was like, but if you really believed in to get some of these guys who can be next level, top tier type, do you just pass on that for morals and like integrity? And then I'm talking about for a Minnesota makes this deal like, hey, you could come get this 3rd pick in this draft or the 5th pick in this draft. You take this, and this. I'm being hypothetical, just making stuff up. You take this pick in the draft. And then we go, no, we're going to stick with this. Jeremy Grant, he levels out. And then you see the guy we passed on Mobley, whoever, they be turning to the next stud. You dying. You dying on the inside. You dying.
Bro, we took Darko over 3 generational talents. Nothing's gonna kill us.
Yeah,
like
people still talk about it 20 years later, dying on the inside. Exactly.
I'm not dying. I'm fine. We won a championship.
You are fine.
We literally took Darko over 3 generational talents.
Inside over Donovan Mitchell. And nobody knew Donovan Mitchell was going to be generational. People dying on the inside on that.
You know why people are dying on
that is, we talked about that. The crazy thing about that is everybody was talking about, oh, he killed his workout. I said, so did Darko. That's the reason why he got drafted. He killed his workout. Same thing with Rodney White. We picked him over Joe Johnson.
He killed his work. Not only did he kill the workout, the Pistons said that they were going to take him if he was there, but they took Kennard instead. Which you're like, huh?
Well, I would say this: I low key, and I don't want to be all and say I was the only or the first, but I know in these Piston groups, if you track it back, I was one of the first people to be like, keep an eye on Donovan Mitchell. I was like one of the first people, like, keep an eye on this kid. He's a quick riser. That's one thing I think I can do well. I spot quick risers. I said, this guy is going to be a quick riser. He was a non-lottery to become a lottery. And I remember saying it. Then, I was like that. But I'm just the type of person that when it's done. Like, I'm not a cry with spilt milk type person. So you ain't going to hear me keep going. So I'm going to ride with Luke because he's on the team. I'm going to ride with Stanley Johnson on the team. Once they're here. I want them to be the very best they can be. Like Killian Hayes, that is not my guy coming to the draft, but he's a Piston. I would rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong and he ball out and I come back and say, oh, I missed on him, than me be like, I'm hoping that Killian Hayes doesn't do good, just like I'm saying, right. But I think that there are certain guys who look the part and they'll be able to beat the part. And I'm still on Suggs. He give me some funny vibes. I know y'all feeling them. He give me some of those funny, like Marcus Smart type of vibes. Like he give me some of that. Marcus Smart in college. Marcus Smart in college. Backflips, dunks, point guard shooting. Marcus Smart in college was crazy. He gives me those vibes.
So I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna do this. No, y'all keep going.
Yeah, I don't want you. No. And you can compare stats. I'm talking about watch the way they played. Marcus Smart in college in his first 2 years was balling. He came back and he lost position because he stayed out the draft too long. If he went out his rookie year, he goes top 3 and 5. Marcus Smart was that guy in college. Backflips in the middle of the courts.
La 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 la.
Marcus Smart in college. You don't see it?
I don't.
Keep going.
I think Suggs is a whole lot more athletic than Marcus Smart ever was, dude. That's what I think. But hey, what do I know?
Athletic. He is 10 times more efficient than Marcus Smart ever was.
I don't care about college ball like that. That's not what I'm looking at.
I'm just talking about period. Like he still to this day is not an efficient player.
But in college,
he wasn't efficient in college.
What was Marcus Smart field goal percentage?
42%.
Okay. And what year? No. His first year.
Both years.
42%, right? What was his 3-point shooting?
42% his second year, 40% his first.
Okay, what was his 3-point shooting?
29%.
Okay, what was his assist?
He had 4.
Okay, how many points a game he scored?
18 the second year.
Okay, he carried that team, and he was the guy. Marcus Smart injury. Didn't he get injured? And that's why he tripped. Marcus Smart was, if we will put
I've been on the record. I've been on the record multiple times, and I say this all the time. I can't stand inefficient players. I can't stand them.
I've been up in that. style
can't
of
stand
play. They both play the same. I'm not certain things translate well, certain things don't. He reminds me a lot of Marcus Smart. That's just a reminder. What is the name of any future player? What's the guy who Cleveland drafted? The guard.
Saxton, Garland.
No. It was years ago. It was Dion. What's his name? God, he went like number 5.
Dion
Waiters. Scoring. I mean, I'm just saying. Sometimes there's guys who fit in these little molds, and I just don't know how they always translate to the NBA. I don't know. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he give me those vibes. I might say he will be. Just give me those vibes. He just give me those vibes.
I didn't get that vibe at all.
Yeah, because you are on board with him. Like you are on board. You're not gonna. Your vibe is Kobe or somebody. Right.
No. Okay, so remember, I was Tyrese Halliburton. Who was y'all calling him? What were y'all calling him?
What did I call him?
Yeah, what did you call him?
What did I call him? I don't think I was. I said I want athletic. I did not say he was a bad player.
I kept telling people from Jump Street, I said this kid checks more boxes than any other guard in the draft.
Now he checks boxes, but does he move the needle? Does he really move the needle?
But that's what I'm saying. When people, this is my whole kicker with people. A player's gonna dictate what he's gonna be. A player's gonna dictate that. What your opinion about it is not gonna do it. The player's gonna dictate that. Give me the guy that checks off all the boxes, that doesn't bring many weaknesses to the league, except for a lot of strengths. Because he's gonna cut that whole impact aspect. He's gonna cut that down. He's closer to being an impact player than Killian Hayes is.
But I had them and guilty as charged. I was happy with either one of them. It was either Hayes or Halliburton for me. It didn't make a difference. But I would rather
go with the bigger athletic player than Sucks.
I like efficiency in my players.
I hear you. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Give me the guy that translates. Give me the guy that can shoot. Give me the guy that defends. Give me the guy with versatility. Give me that guy.
Don't you think it's kind of, and I'm just being devil's advocate, it's kind of too early. And once again, he's not moving the needle. He's not like he's on the team and all of a sudden the Kings are in the playoffs because he's on the team. He's playing well in his role on that team.
He's making impact plays for them, though.
I mean, so it's
He's making impact
plays. Baby is for us. The kid Kyrie Lewis is for what you call it, and the guy who Philly drafted is playing well for them. I mean, but is he moving?
You know what? This goes back to how we view impacts of players. Because even like with Andre Drummond, people saying, "Oh, his impact is nil," or his 30 and 20 are empty stats. This is one of the dumbest things I've heard people say. Because if you take away 30 and 20 from a team, they're going to lose, right?
Well, they took 18 and they took 18 and 15 away, and they've been losing too. So all of my point is, I just
like you take that away from the team, it's going to lose,
man.
Here's the thing with the whole 30 and 20 thing, and this is about like people. Like, and me and you had this discussion. We were talking.
Hold on, real quick. Thank you, Carl. Carl is responding and said Marcus Smart was a beast in college. Thank you, Carl. Okay, I'm sorry, Jamal.
He was an inefficient beast.
It's okay. Beast all the same. It's okay. Beast all the same. Go ahead, Jamal.
Don't give me the guy that's 20 for 20. Give me 20 shots for 20 points.
Hey, go ahead, Jamal. Thanks, Carl. Thanks for the love, Carl.
We were talking about.
I know you too, Carl, but I don't agree with you.
As far as impact, it's a combination of a lot of things. It's a combination of, and this is just from what I see. I'm not saying that it's fair, but from what I see, it's a combination of where you're drafted, how much money you make, and the production. Like KCP. KCP was a lottery pick. KCP was expected to lead this team to something. Bruce Brown was drafted in the second round. everybody liked Bruce Brown, myself included. But they were the same players, but the difference was where they were drafted. That's what made the difference. Where they were drafted. KCP, to me, he couldn't carry us offensively, and he was a lottery pick. And people, myself included, expect more out of a lottery pick versus a second round pick. Fair.
I have a different philosophy about that.
Look. I've shared this in all of the Pistons groups. I shared the percentage of each pick just becoming an all-star. Not even becoming a generational talent, just an all-star. At the number 7 pick, you have an 18% chance of somebody just being an all-star. Now, if you got the number 1 pick, that number shoots to over 50%. So if you got a top 3 pick, yeah, you can put those those attachments to a lottery pick. The fact that Drummond ended up being an all-star defeated the odds. KCP didn't do that.
No, KCP didn't do that. But also, too, what happened with Drummond, they paid Drummond like a max player. And that goes back to my next point. They paid him like a max player, and he didn't affect the game like a max player. Just saying.
He got paid like the market value of what he was worth.
Fair enough, but he also
all of them got paid the same amount.
But he didn't play like that though. Is what I'm saying.
I get it. The Drummond conversation is always going to be there. But I would say this: every team is going to have to make a decision off of these guys, and it's kind of coming right back around to where we are with these guards. And like you just said, if Dennis Smith Jr. finishes this season strong, it forces your hand to say, do we give this guy a big contract or do we let him go? Because either way, if he finishes season strong, the market is going to be there for him. If he resurges and plays anything like he did, I'm talking about the dunks, the highlights. And I looked it up. In Dallas, he had a game. I think he had don't hold me to this completely, but it was like 30 and 15 assists. It's like he had those type of games. If he finishes his season like he did his rookie year, it puts a lot of pressure on the organization to say the same thing that happened. I mean, just the same thing. It's like this guy is showing, and he's only 23.
Elder, also too, he has a team option. So if he plays well toward the end of the season, they'll pick up the option and let that situation play out.
Dennis Smith has an expiring contract.
No, he has a
restricted. Yeah, it's a team restricted. He have a team restriction.
Team option for next year.
Yeah.
So next year they can pick if he plays well. If he plays well, they can pick that option up, and if he continues
at the end of this year, he has a
contract.
Huh?
He has an expiring contract.
No,
he has an expiring contract.
At the end of this year is a restriction. It's a team restriction.
He has a player.
There isn't. I'm looking at it. It's not.
I gotta see what you're looking at. He definitely has a restriction. I looked it up. He has a team restriction.
Which website are you on, sir?
Basketball Reference.
No,
look at Basketball Reference.
No,
look at NBA. What is it? That's sub. Yeah,
the best one.
Yeah. He has a restriction. It's a qualifying offer.
He has a team option.
It's a qualifying offer.
Oh, it's a qualifying offer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't the team control that?
Not a team.
Yeah, team controls qualifying offer.
Oh well, that's
what I'm trying to say. No, I'm on the page with you. I seen it before you got here.
Go to what?
It's called a qualifying offer.
No, I said what website did y'all say was better?
Sport Track.
Yeah. He has like a qualifying offer. I know for sure he's not a free agent.
No, he's not.
Nah. But that's my point, man. You do run into those options and those choices, man. So I just look at this team and it's just some interesting perspectives.
Hey, I only use Basketball Reference for stats. I don't use Basketball Reference for contracts.
Yeah. Unless I'm looking at all his numbers.
You saying this Q? Hold on.
QO. It should say QO, which is qualifying offer for next year.
Mhm.
That's what that says. I'm sure because I looked at it.
Weird.
Pull
right.
it up. You see it?
Yeah, I see it, but I'm just like, all right, I don't know.
Yeah, it's because a qualifying offer because he's in the last year of it's like his rookie deal, so you can match that. You can match that.
Last year's rookie deal now.
Yeah, so he can match his quality. So they have his qualifying offer. So another team would have to exceed that amount, so they can take him for that amount. They have to exceed that.
So you say if he ball out, he gets a $7 million qualifying offer.
And they can do that. They can just take him for more. They can keep him for that $7 million. If they say they don't want him, then he goes to the market. They have to match that offer. They have to match that $7 million to keep him. It's like a built-in, like they have to match that amount. It's like rookies get it who don't get re-signed to their deal. They don't get the extension.
Oh, they don't get that qualifying offer from the team option.
Correct. Yeah, because likely he got traded outside and teams passed on his extension or whatever may have happened. So they fall into a qualifying offer. So that's like they can keep him for that, whatever is $7 million. Is that what it is? $7 million?
Yeah,
$7 million.
They can keep him for $7 million. But if they choose not to, he becomes unrestricted free agent. But this is good, fellas. So last huh?
Did you see the cap hit on that?
One more time.
Did you see the cap hit on that?
Mm-mm.
No, what's the cap hit?
$14 million.
That's what I said something like 15. That's what I told you. I said it's like 15.
Yeah, the offer is $7 million, but the cap hit is 14.
That's what I said. It's gonna be. That's what I'm saying. You have to make a decision.
Hell no.
But you are saying no. But if you're telling me this guy finishes the season something like Reggie Jackson did, no, you saying no. You saying no because you want Suggs.
I can't do it. I can't do it, Dennis. I'm sorry, bro. I love you. I can't do it.
I'm telling you. Cap hit, like, and hold on though. And before we got here, you gotta realize there's a cap hit based on the players we have. We could eat. You just now said we got movable contracts, so you gotta take that all into play. What you just said,
$14 million cap hit on a guy that's inefficient.
No. On a guy who's gonna finish the season averaging 19-7. No, see how
he's never shot over 43%.
It doesn't matter.
It does. That type of stuff matters.
No, it don't. Because you're looking at a guy who's 23, 24 years old, and you're going to say he's starting to peak. That's what they're going to say.
So you guys I give you an example.
He's not letting me wrap this up, guys. He's going to get this last say. We're going to make this your last say. So you're going to make sure you give your example going to be your last say. Go.
Terry Rozier. What was he before he got over to Charlotte?
He wasn't efficient. I never hyped him.
Boston to me. I like Terry Rozier.
He was all these guys, my Reggie Jacksons. Those are my Reggie Jackson's class. All them guys are my Reggie Jackson ceilings.
Because
how much Terry Rozier made?
We were talking about like what dudes get paid, and we were like, that $17 million. Kind of very similar to what Reggie had. It's market value. I don't have a problem with that. But he built up to that. He had that. He went off in the playoffs, and that's why he got paid.
No, he didn't.
He
no, he didn't.
Had games in the playoffs.
No, he didn't.
You're saying Marcus?
I'm gonna get like Jamal. Charlotte is a terrible organization. No, he didn't. Terry Rozier had a good year when what his name went down, got hurt. He wasn't great in the playoff. He was hot and cold. And then Charlotte needed a guard, and then they took him and they paid him well to be what he is right now.
Wait. I'm about to clown. I'm about to clown on this one, man. Listen, that whole Terry Rozier signing was crazy because They lowballed Walker, Kimber Walker. They lowballed him, let him go to Boston. Yeah, Michael Jordan is an idiot. He's a complete idiot.
So
he's not looking so dumb right now.
Guys in the chat, tell me this. If you guys are hearing me and you're in the chat, I see we got a couple of viewers inside the chat. If we're going to just say this, I just want to know from you guys in the chat, and you can leave it there. We'll catch up with it later. If Dennis Smith Jr., I don't even say balls out, averages 17 to 19 points per game, 6 to 7 assists by the end of the season, shoots 43%, 35, 36% for three for the rest of the year, even if we don't win, are you not re-signing him for $15 or $14 million? 23 years old. He bouncing the ball off the backboard, dunking. I'm gonna set the scene for y'all. He on the fast break. He throw it off the ground, bouncing to himself, dunk it, catching lobs.
I know Nate is. Nate is.
Okay, I got a question for you, Elder. Okay. Is the sign and trade in play with this?
A sign and trade?
Yeah, is the sign and trade in play with this?
If it can happen, if it's a real one, it can happen.
Oh yes. Then if that's the case, I would do a sign and trade, and it also depend on because is Killian going to come back this year? Would you bring me personally? I would.
He's being reevaluated, and then they're gonna see.
Listen, if I'm the Pistons, I would make him get that surgery. He's 19. Let him get the surgery and let him sit out the year, because truthfully, he's not ready for the NBA. He needs to get stronger. Killian needs to get stronger. He got bullied, when he was playing. And I think a lot of that too is the fact that they gave him the job. They gave him the job. He didn't have to earn it. They gave it to him.
That's a whole nother conversation.
So,
in my opinion, if I could leave a parting thought, now I give everybody else you guys, and we can leave with a parting thought. Starting Killian Hayes, knowing that he was struggling, out of everything that I've seen Casey or Weaver do, I'm gonna say everything I've seen Casey do in the last 2 years, it's and I know how you feel about playing Blake. I know how you feel about Derrick Rose. I know you feel like that. I feel like that was the worst decision. I feel like he was not mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever the leads are. He was none of those leads. He was none of the leads.
I think that was Weaver.
I think they should have started Derrick Rose, brought Killian Hayes off the bench behind him. Let Derrick Rose play 25 minutes. Let Killian come back behind him. And I think there would have been a natural maturation. So that's my part in thought, and that's what I think. And I think now they're dealing with the kind of get back of that. Pardon thoughts. Jamal, pardon thoughts.
Pardon thoughts. More ping pong balls. More ping pong balls. More ping pong balls.
Every time you come in for now, I'm seeking. I'll find a backdrop with the lottery in the back. I'll find a backdrop with the lottery.
Hey, that's fine. That is perfectly fine with me, man. Look, this season is not this season. This is a rebuild. I've been wanting this since the fake playoff push because that's exactly what I. So, again, just keep growing, man. Keep growing, and just let the guys develop. That's my parting shot.
All right, and Reginald, go ahead, brother. Give us your last minute rant about how good Halliburton is. Go ahead.
I ain't got a rant. My man has already shown it. But I will say I'm looking forward to seeing which one of these guys seizes the moment to the end of the season. The line right to be back in a couple of weeks. I would love to see one of these two young guys solidify themselves as the number 2 point guard. Only because I would love for them to be able to go into next year saying we do have this position sold up and we do want to get somebody like Green or Kuminga or something like that, maybe even Mobley. But outside of that, bro, just a bunch of narratives.
All right, so this is the very last one, and you just tell me who you think between the two are going to finish with a better end of the season. You guys can put it in the chat too if you're listening. Will it be Smith or Lee? So Jamal, Smith or Lee will finish the season better.
I'm going with Dennis Smith Jr. Here's why. Saban Lee, and this is actually a compliment to Saban Lee. Saban Lee done woke him up. Saban Lee is he sees that, okay, Saban Lee is here to ball. So that's gonna push Dennis Smith Jr. I think I don't know if he's gonna get back to what he was in Dallas, but he's gonna come close. So
right. Reginald, I'm gonna go Lee or Dennis Smith Jr.
I'm gonna go Lee. Because that kid is hungry. He trying to solidify that contract. He trying to get off that two-way. And honestly, Dennis Smith, he's gas, bro. Like, he just ain't been able to play a good, tangible ball for like over a year. So at this point, I'm going with the young buck with energy, with something to play for. He got a big chip. I think he's going to take it.
All right, guys. Well, this was a narrative, man. I wish I could do these things more often, man. My work schedule and my life kind of crazy. I wish I could do these way more often. I wish I could do these at least 2-3 times a week for real. But what I want you guys to do, man, if you're in the chat, you guys can help me out. I'm gonna drop my YouTube link. I'm gonna upload this video up on YouTube, or so you guys, if you can like, subscribe my YouTube channel, that's dope. And always share these, man. Share these. Copy and paste the link because our group is closed. So copy and paste the link and share this and invite people to the group, man. Invite people to the Detroit Pistons Central group and the Detroit News and Update group. Jamal, he floats between both of the really all three of us. We float between both of the groups. So support those groups, man. Support those demands. And there's some other great Detroit Piston groups out there, man. The men do a great job of keeping them up and running. So support those groups, fellas. So appreciate you guys, man. You guys have a good one.